Today, I'm inviting you to follow in my footsteps on a journey to me being financially free now for the last 17 years. And you know what? It's totally duplicatable. I got people watching my social from all over the world, and I'm showing them how to really do the same thing over and over again. For example, here, I'm in my commercial building. This is where I put on events. I own a lot of residential real estate, and I own a lot of businesses. This lifestyle has allowed me to travel the world, visit 40 different countries with my family. Just got back from Iceland. I'm gonna be heading to Japan for a couple of weeks. And what has made all of this possible was literally learning a different approach to building wealth. Look, looks like they're setting up for a wedding or something. I own the place. I don't know really what's going on here. I own hundreds of properties. I don't really know what the renters are doing today. I own a whole lot of businesses. And the reality is it's just multiplying and creating all this wealth for me. And there are footsteps for you to follow in to get the exact same thing. Let me show you.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Why on earth would anyone want to work 40 years for somebody else and not really financially get ahead? My first job as a college kid was telemarketer, and I would talk to people all day long that 30 years earlier had gone to college after they got their good grades. They were dutifully 401k'ing, IRAing, they were working on paying off their house. And you know what? Most of them didn't travel. It didn't look like they were having fun. They didn't drive fancy cars. They weren't making memories. They weren't really living. And I thought from that moment on, you know what? I actually have a desire to be wealthy. And if you have a desire to be wealthy, make sure you're a subscriber on my channel, because today I'm gonna open up a whole new world as I share 3 very simple steps that has created all of my wealth. So when we talk about following in my footsteps towards financial freedom, I really mean 3 very specific steps. Most people are stuck in wage slavery. There has to be an awareness first for you to say, where am I actually at? Because whether you're making $300,000 a year or you're making $30,000 a year, this is a form of wage slavery. As of April 2023, 58% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That even includes 40% of high income earners, proving that you're still a wage slave unless you live by smart financial principles. You might think that $300,000 a year is better than $30,000 a year, but I got news for you. When you struggle to pay the bills at $30,000 a year and all of a sudden a bill comes due for $1,000, you're gonna panic. But when you make $300,000 a year and you spend $300,000 a year, then you panic when you get stuck with a $30,000 bill. In other words, more money, check to check, even bigger problems. So here's the crazy truth. 70% of Americans feel stressed about their finances, but it doesn't have to be that way for you. Follow 3 simple steps that I discovered on my own wealth journey so that you can become financially free. And I'm gonna tell you right now, these same 3 steps that worked then work just as well today. They are tried and proven. You could interview 1,000 multimillionaires, and these same 3 steps are gonna be present. Check it out. Here's the first step. You gotta reserve cash to invest. Now, I mean 3 different things by this. There are many ways to acquire the money needed to invest, but broadly speaking, there are 3 main ways to do it. You're either spending less money of what you're making, you're either earning more, trying to get promotions and whatnot, or you're reallocating the money you have, what you set aside for retirement, saying, I gotta do something different with it. This is about $100,000. So if you make $100,000 a year, this is what it looks like when it's printed in $100 bills. Let's just say for a moment that you are spending 80% of your money on your bills. Well, that leaves $20,000 left over to invest. So if you want more money to invest, you either get a raise, in other words, make more money, and instead of spending it, you put it over here, or you decrease your expenses, because if I can decrease them, I can also put them over here. And don't forget that you may have saved money in a 401k or an IRA, and even though everyone said, don't touch that, that's for retirement, I got news for you. It's not gonna be enough for retirement, so you might as well pull it out and do smart investment moves right now. Basically, spend less, earn more, or use what you got differently. Once you've got something set aside to invest, we move on to the second step, where you start investing in high ROI assets. Now, when I talk about a 401k or an IRA or the stock market in general, those are great examples of low ROI investments. In fact, they share something in common. They're all single digit. Meaning the 30-year average return on a 401k, 5%. The 30-year average on an IRA, 6%. The 30-year average on the S&P, 8%. And you know what they all share in common? If it blends out and you have your money basically in retirement earning 6%, do you know what it does over 20 years? It triples. And I want you to think for just a moment what a sad figure that is. 20 years of your life goes by and all your money has done is triple. And why not more? That's because it's sitting in a single-digit investment device. The best high ROI asset for someone trying to obtain financial freedom starts with real estate. I average a minimum of 25% ROI, not to mention the tax benefits, the cash flow, the appreciation that come with owning property. So when I became originally financially independent at the age of 26, guess how it happened? I did it by acquiring properties that were earning at least 25% annual ROI. Now, compare 25% for just a moment to 6% and check this math out. If over a 20-year period of time, you're starting with a little bit of money and you're growing it, for example, with 401ks, IRAs, and traditional means, that money is going to triple over that 20-year period of time. Let's say that we were talking about $50,000. Well, now it grows into about $160,000 at 6%. This is why most people at age 65 turn around to say, all right, retirement, greet me. Crickets. It's disappointing, and the next thing you know, you're in line at Walmart trying to get a job. But if you put it that same $50,000 into real estate at 25%, do you know what that grows to? That grows to $4.3 million. That is 27 times more money than traditional retirement, which is why this whole second step right here, you got to start putting your money into higher ROI. And real estate baseline is the start of it, but there are other moves that you make after here that will get you wealthier faster. When your fledgling investments start creating a return for you and you start making money, the third and final step is to set up a cash flow system. Having appreciating assets is great long-term, but you need cash coming in to be financially free today. Here are some different great ways that you can set up a cash flow system. We talked about renting multiple properties. That's what I was doing in the beginning, and I took my winnings from them and I poured them into more properties. Hence, one home became 2, and 2 became 5, and 5 became 25, and years later, that became hundreds of properties. I also opened up a cash value life insurance policy. I took my positive cash flow, I put it in a rare type of life insurance where if I put it there, it became untouchable, on average was growing at about 6%, and I could borrow it at any point while still earning money to put it into my next investment. For example, owning a business. Real estate produces long-term growth. Owning a business, oh my gosh, that produces a lot of cash flow. And so when you're building a cash flow system, I put my money here, I put it into real estate, I'll bounce it into business, and what I'm doing with time is I'm growing all of them, and then faster and faster and faster, they grow into a machine where it's $10,000 a month, then it's $100,000 a month, and then it just keeps on going, almost as if this is a game with rules, and if you know the rules, you play the game and then you win. That's exactly what building wealth is like. Well, there's always a place to start, and the first one is reserve your capital. If you've already done that and you've got something sitting in IRAs and 401ks and home equity, then you're ready to start investing. These 3 steps are simple in principle but difficult to execute unless you have an experienced partner or mentor at your side. They require patience, strategic thinking, and up-to-date market data. And if it were easy, everyone else would do it, but there is actually an easy path, and that is find an expert and then do it with them. This is how I built my wealth in the beginning, and it's how I still build my wealth today. Most people, I think, get really messed up when they try to go it alone. So check it out. I got $50,000 right here. Maybe this came from your 401k. Maybe it came from your IRA. Maybe it came from equity in a home. Maybe it just came from savings. And remember how if you take that $50,000 and you triple it through a 401k and instead put that into real estate at a minimum of 25%, that 50K turns potentially into $4.3 million. In other words, there's enough to retire on. And if you'd like to know how I can do 100% of the work with you being the financial partner, that's a 50-50 relationship. And there's a link below. You can learn about partnering with me, and I'll show you how I help people all over the world, over 1,000 people, partner with me, and I do all the work, 100% of finding the real estate that can produce these returns. I manage all the day-to-day, all the headaches, and at the end, based on 6,500 home track record, this is something that I'm really, really, really good at. And if you want to be good at building wealth, then you work with someone who's really good at it and has a track record. Click the link below, get with me and my team. Let me show you how to take some of your hard-earned money and make it work for you right now. Kris, am I saying stop investing in the stock market? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And if you want to know the real reasons why, it's because you've been lied to, and the truth is found on this video right here.